Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the Oxford Exxon podcast. Chase Parham, Neil McCready, Clark Ford studio this afternoon, or just after 1 o'clock, as we are hitting the button on this election day. It feels like it's 10 o'clock already, but it's not. The poll's still 5 hours or so from the first one's closing on the East Coast. I put a mailbag topic up a minute ago just to see if you guys give us anything where it's not 75 minutes of rambling about an election as we're staring at a television right now. But we'll be with you. We'll talk about whatever maybe you guys want to talk about in the stream. If you're with us, we appreciate you spending your day with us there, as well as the thread that's up at rebelgrove.com. You can put comments in there and then move on and listen to us here as well. A podcast brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Speed Pass Plus out. Get it, download it, use it. You can take advantage of the efficiency that you can fill up right there at all Blue Sky locations in Mississippi, including the Oxford Exxon. You get on with your day. They also have lunch specials available every single day at the Oxford Exxon. $5.69 for those. Two-side bread, 32-ounce drink. Ben Craddock, unlike rivals, there at some point you do have to move up a little bit, so $5.69 there, as there is that today from a lunch special at the Oxford Exxon. Again, competing from the Clark Ford studio.
Yeah, we are going to the Clark Ford Studios. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900. Sometimes you just want to have a conversation with people. You really do. Never mind. 662-257-1900. Call the number, ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Corey wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy. He'll prove that to you when you make the call. 662-257-1900. Guest join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters Music and Food is right there on the square in Oxford. Be a great place starting this weekend to hang out, watch college football. Ole Miss is off, but there are games that are on, including the Pac-12 getting started on Friday. They're playing early Saturday. You got SEC games, Georgia, Florida. NFL weekend, of course, all of that. Great place to hang out at Rafters. Music and Food on the square in Oxford. Kevin says, hoping today's podcast is about Ole Miss instead of politics/NBA. Chase, when was the last time we talked about NBA?
Oh,
No, I'm serious. When was the last time we talked about the NBA on this podcast with any degree of length?
Probably when they first went into the bubble.
We didn't even talk about the NBA Finals at any point.
No, that's what I'd say. I think the only conversation we even really had about the finals was when Grind called in that night and we went through some stuff with him.
Yeah. Let's see. He says, life in Fayetteville. When was the last time we talked about life in Fayetteville, other than when I talk about my daughter, who's one of the three most important people in my life? I mean, how often do we talk about, quote, life in Fayetteville, end quote? I mean, you going to put crap like this up and go after me like that? I'm going to go right back at you because that's bullshit. And how often do we talk about Arkansas Razorback football as opposed to any other SEC team that we cover? I mean, how often? Seriously, you going to throw that shit at me? I'm going to come right back at you with your crap. Jackass. And how often do we talk about golf? And you love golf. How often do we talk about golf on this show?
I typically abstain
And
from
screw you, man. Seriously, screw you. I'm done. I'm not going to. You don't come at me like that. I'm going to come right back at you every single time.
What was your weight this morning?
I didn't weigh this morning. Oh, I'm kidding. It's probably 206. An hour and 15, hour and 20. I went early.
Yeah.
I got there at 7. I saw the crowd. I was like, whoa. And I thought, okay, can I get done by 9? Because I had to tape SEC Football and Beyond at 9. And I thought, I bet it moves fast enough to get in and out by 9. And I was out by 8:20.
It took some people 2 hours at my precinct. I have not gone yet. I'm planning on doing it when I leave here. Because I kind of got to that point where I didn't have time immediately. Carlene had to get to school, all that kind of stuff. And then at like 11, it was, hey, you're going to run into some lunch crowd potentially. I don't want to get into the 5 o'clock crowd. So in my head, I'm going, okay, maybe 2:30, 2:45 is the best time to do that. But I talked to Austin Barber. He had about a 70-minute wait in Jackson. I mean, and this is well, you and I were talking about it. I'll go through some of these mailbag topics a little bit as we go, and I'm trying to let them accumulate a little bit. It's not, the common knowledge is more likely than not, Democrats are going to vote early, and then on day of voting, traditionally, it's Republicans that are trying to catch up in voting, and they have big turnouts on election day. every damn body is voting today. I mean, I'm beginning to wonder. I mean, this may be crazy, and Austin may go, yeah, that's not possible. I'm wondering if both these candidates aren't going to break Obama's record from 2008.
Oh, they very well could. So 4 years ago, the last cycle, 136 million people voted.
Uh-huh.
So when it all ended, just under 101 million people voted before Election Day today.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure, yeah.
So we're going to cruise past 136.
Sure, of course.
I've heard people out there saying 175, which seems insane to me, but you look around the country and what is the story? No matter where you go, red state, blue state, green state, purple state, whatever, long lines.
And now the social distance thing is increasing the line length.
The way they look, right.
But still. The weight is the weight is the weight.
Right,
no
that's
what
I was going to say.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
are, the one thing, not really the physical length of
sure.
the line, people are saying, hey, normally it takes me 15 minutes. It took me an hour.
Sure.
I've read, hey, normally it takes me 5 minutes. It took me 40 minutes. In Birmingham, people are saying 2.5 hours to vote. So, again, we're not being political here. We'll get to that in a little bit. If it's 170, let's call it, million people that vote, okay?
Sure.
That's 34 million more people than voted in the last election. We don't know who the hell those people are voting for. The pollsters will admit that to you. The honest ones.
Well, because some people go, well, in the last 4 years, there's a lot of people that turned 18, so they're going to be, newcomers and young people. Well, yeah, but I mean, not to be whatever, but a lot of people are retired or dead in 4 years too. You know what I mean? Like those two numbers kind of offset one another, where you don't necessarily increase because of that. We're talking about literally people that just go, you know what, I'm actually showing up to vote this time.
So it's first time voters.
Yeah, sure.
But it's also people, when you hear first time voters, you think Campbell.
Yeah.
Oh, she's 19. She gets to vote for the first time. My nephew Drew getting to vote for the first time. My niece Kate getting to vote for the first time.
Sure.
It's not just them. It's people who, for whatever reason, typically don't vote. They typically they're disengaged, or they don't make it a part of their routine, or they just don't care enough. Whatever. Always get a kick out of. You've heard me say this when people go, everybody goes, vote. I'm like, hey, quit pressuring people to vote. If they don't want to vote, they don't want to vote. You have a constitutional right to vote. You don't have a constitutional mandate to vote. If you don't want to vote, don't vote. I know that's wildly unpopular, but if you don't want to vote, it's cool. Don't vote. But when you see this, you wonder, so what is it? And if the number's 170 million, and I've seen that number thrown around a bunch today. I've seen one person go as high as 180, which seems unfathomable to me. I don't know why, but it just does. People go, what does it mean? I was having this conversation with someone a minute ago. I think it means a couple of things. I think it's a pushback against. There's no question that at least a percentage of it is a pushback against Trump and amidst the pandemic.
It's both sides pushing back.
Yeah,
that's what you're getting. You're getting this firestorm of both sides pissed off about something. And
the other thing that some of the exit data is already pointing out. I was just listening to a call that someone let me listen in on from a pretty prominent person. It's some pushback against the summer. They didn't like the summer. They didn't like all of the demonstrations and the stuff and the labels that got put on people. There was frustration about that. And a lot of people have not had a voice until today.
Well, look, politics in general, and you and I could go for hours on this, is you get people to vote for you for two reasons. They love you enough to show up, or they hate the other guy enough to show up. It's that simple, really, when you boil down politics. And it was what we talked about. There's a difference in an undecided voter and an uncommitted voter. I can be for Biden or be for Trump, but not really care enough to go to the polls today.
Sure.
So to get me to actually get out of the house, you got to do one of two things. You got to piss me off enough about the other guy.
Yeah.
Or you got to make me really care about what it is you're doing.
Because when you stand in the line for an hour and a half, you care.
And you wonder about that. Somebody goes, hey, I'm probably going to vote today. They hear about these lines early and go, I don't know what that.
Well, I mean, I haven't always voted.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah.
Been a lot of state races where I'm like, And I've driven over there. I'm like, it looks like it's 10 minutes. I'm out.
Yeah.
Why? Because I didn't care.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, and so if you stand in a line for 2.5 hours in Birmingham, Alabama, you care. What we're going to find out tonight is who cared the most about what, I guess. If we find out anything tonight. I've seen some people say we'll know by 10 o'clock tonight. I don't know that we will.
I think you know by 10 o'clock tonight if Biden is getting over 300 electoral votes.
I think if either,
that's the only, because if Trump loses, early on, if you see he's getting hammered in Pennsylvania and he's losing North Carolina, and you go, okay, well, this is over. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing you can do. He loses all the Rust Belt. I mean, then you go, okay, well, we start doing some math, and Biden's going to end up with 315 or whatever it is. I don't know. But if it's close or a Trump win, I don't think we have a prayer tonight of finding out. I don't think that's a thing.
I put up on the graph here, according to Real Clear Politics, these are the battlegrounds. Listen to this for a minute. It's amazing. Florida, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, Arizona. I've got Minnesota twice. Sorry.
Okay.
Minnesota, Arizona, Iowa, Georgia, Nevada, Texas. My initial thoughts are if Georgia and Texas are truly battlegrounds, this is going to be a landslide.
But what constitutes a battleground? What is the margin that puts it in that category, I guess is my question.
Well, anything within 4
within
points.
The margin or whatever. That's my point. I think that's
margin
why,
of error is typically about 3 point something.
I think this is why it's so interesting and why I asked Austin that yesterday, is there's no doubt Georgia has turned more blue. There's no doubt Texas has turned more blue. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
People moving in, just time, whatever. Is it Trump or is it Republican Party? And I don't know the answer to that. 2024, 2028 will answer that a little better than today does. But it's where the Electoral College is such a math thing. Is Trump wins Texas 51-49, he still gets all 34 of those votes or whatever it is. He wins Georgia by 1.2 points. He still gets all the 15 or whatever's in Georgia right now. I guess that's the question that I don't have an answer to. We should have asked Austin yesterday, and I didn't think about it. Is a sign of some early, what typically are pro-Republican states being tight. Does that mean that translates to more Biden votes in other battleground states that are not typically Republican strongholds? And I don't know.
I don't know.
I think that is the story of the election, and I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't know that anybody knows the answer to that. And look, it's why, as much as he got killed 4 years ago, and look, he did not cover it well in a lot of ways. Nate Silver never said Trump had a 0% chance of winning. Like, so many people get so screwed up on statistics where Trump had a 28% chance of winning in 2016. That means more than 1 out of 4 times he wins.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't mean, hey, the majority wins every time. Today, Trump has, according to Nate Silver, like an 11% chance of winning. Is it likely? No, but it's 11%. It does happen. I guess that's the point. So
the thing that blows me away is watching, like today, there was some pushback against Real Clear Politics because of some of the polls that they let in. I'd rather see all the polls. In this era, coming off of the last news cycle when, look, I have a lot of respect for Silver, but they missed it. They were off.
Yeah, of course.
It blows me away that we just disregard this Trafalgar guy because he's not one of the establishment. Well, he nailed it in 16. Not only did he get it right, he nailed it. And he nailed DeSantis in Florida in 18. No one else was calling for that. Now, he's missed some too. But so I don't listen to him, for example. I think it's Mahaffey or something like that. He's on kind of a weird-looking guy with I'm one to call somebody weird-looking, but he had a bow tie and he's got kind of funky facial hair and talks kind of different and, real Southern. Appears to lean right, perhaps heavily.
Sure.
So I don't look at him and go, oh, gospel. But I listen in the same way that I listen to Silver or I listen to some of the other pollsters and go, well, and he insists, and others agree, but he really insists that there's this shy Trump element that I'm fascinated to see play out tonight or not play out tonight. says that they can't get people on the phone to admit that they're voting for Trump.
Yes. That is a true thing.
And I know people, like I'm 50. I admitted it Sunday that I voted for Trump. I did. And I told you why I voted for Trump. And I told you I'm not a big Trump guy at all. I wish that whoever's president would be more presidential than Trump is. But I wouldn't have admitted 10 years ago at 40 that I was voting for Trump. Damn sure wouldn't have admitted it at 35. There's a lot of people that are that way. So I don't know what the results are going to be tonight. Frankly, nothing would surprise me, including Trump winning big wouldn't surprise me. Biden winning big wouldn't surprise me. A close Biden win wouldn't surprise me. A close Trump win wouldn't surprise. When you're talking about 35 million new votes, I don't know.
It's why I'm feel very confident they're both going to break the record, because the record right now for popular vote is 08 Obama, 69,400,000. Well, do some math.
Yeah.
That's 70 million. That's 140 if it's 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
Very possible both of them surge past that, because, I mean, Joe Jorgensen's going to get some votes. Other's going to get some votes. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they're going to comprise
There are people that think Jorgensen's going.
97%.
There are people that think Jorgensen's going to get as much as 4% of the vote. That's the Libertarian Party making some noise. I mean, they're nowhere close to winning an election, don't get me wrong, but 4% of the vote is noise.
What's the most ever for a third party in modern history not named Perot?
Nader?
Is it Nader in 2000?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I'll look it up. I don't know. I mean,
What'd you vote for? Did you vote on the medical marijuana
well,
thing?
I haven't yet, but I will.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm voting yes to the 65.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
So when people are like, "You're a hardcore conservative," I'm like, "I voted for marijuana."
And I'm going to vote yes for the flag just to make the damn thing go away.
I did too.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody on the way over here a minute ago, and they're like, I voted no because of this. I'm like, dude, just make it. I don't give a shit. Just go away.
Yeah,
That's all.
They could put up a poster of like Tony the Tiger from Frosted Flakes.
Somebody was very
like, that's
frustrated.
good.
The person I was talking to was frustrated and voted no because it has "In God We Trust" on it. There is that sentiment, and I get it. I just want it to stop. I don't care what it looks like or what it says. Just go away.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, it literally. Yeah, you're right. It could have Charlie Brown and Snoopy on it, and I go, sure.
I'm telling you, they
Great.
could put Tony the Tiger, and instead of "In God We Trust," it could say "They're great," and I would say done.
Hang it.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
Is that offending anybody? And everybody pretty much likes Tony the Tiger. We're good. Let's roll.
I don't know. Yeah. It's.
I'm going to tell you, if we have another year like 2020, I'm going to need some medical marijuana, so I need it to pass.
Suddenly glaucoma sounds like a thing, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah.
All right, sure. It's all good.
I'm interested to see how engaged young people are when the numbers come back. College-age kids. Sure. How engaged are they?
Because honestly, they're voting for a couple old white men. How many college kids go, hey, I'm taking the time out of my day to go to the polls and vote for one of two old white men?
And my gut is this year there's going to be a lot of them. And I don't know whether it's going to be to vote for Biden because he's the hip Democrat Party, or whether it's going to be to vote for Trump because they're scared of another shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff out there. When this is that moment on the pitching mound at Bull Durham where there's a lot to deal with here.
I mean, I don't know what the hell's going to happen. I'm going to sit and I'm going to watch every second of it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I started flipping it like 7:30 this morning. I'm just flipping.
I don't know what's going to happen.
And how it's going will dictate where I flip.
Oh, yeah.
100% of that. Some in one way, sure as hell in another.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I don't mind telling you. If it looks like it's going Trump's way, I will enjoy watching CNN backtrack or triple down.
You'll stay with CNN, not move to MSNBC?
That's a free space.
Okay. You can only take so much of that.
Well, see,
right?
in all seriousness, I don't have a problem with MSNBC. They admit what they are.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. You know, they're progressive. They're left. I'm cool. That's fine. My problem with CNN is CNN still tries to hang on to this, you know, we're the voice of news. No, you're not. No, you're not. You've gone to you've become a mouthpiece for the left. That'd be okay if they didn't keep trying to present themselves as that. And I think it's frankly one of the things that I'm watching for tonight. One of the things in the exit polls that I don't know will get reported, but what is your thoughts on the American media? I think people have soured on media in a major way.
Mm-hmm. What's frustrating about that is that broadcast news networks are cesspools. There's no doubt about that. A lot of the headlines we see are cesspools. You've got to dig so hard to find good, reputable journalism. It's still out there to some degree.
Yeah.
But it's not in your face at all. You've got to really look for it. And frankly, you almost got to have a damn journalism degree to find it. You got to kind of really know where to look. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's interesting is we've allowed a bunch of talking heads and broadcast news to define an entire field in so many different ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I get it's more widespread than that. But you understand what I mean? Like, Fox News and CNN and you know, some crazy ass articles in this paper or this paper. That's dictated such an overall tone of media in 2020.
What did Reeves tweet about 65?
I read it to you that he was voting no on both.
Oh, the stoners thing?
Yeah.
Come on, man. I mean,
that was Reeves on Twitter.
I'm for it, and I can honestly tell you, I've never even experimented with marijuana. I'd admit it out loud. I mean, if I had, I would tell you, yeah, I have. I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
But it's medical marijuana.
But
hey, let's go.
I'm for legalizing marijuana.
Tax it,
grow it.
Yeah.
And we live in a state where we would make a fortune off of it.
Yeah.
You could really grow.
Beat everybody else to the punch and knock it out.
Yeah, I mean, create a...
I don't think Colorado's upset about its decision to do that a few years ago.
They've made a bunch of money, right?
Yeah.
I mean... That's where I push back with people and they're like, oh, you're whatever. I'm like, I'm not hardcore right wing at all, except for taxes. I'm for lowering taxes, not for myself, but because I know how it works. I know how rich people think. If you increase taxes on rich people, they're just going to cut stuff. They're not going to be, oh, well, you know what? I tell you, Buffy, what we should probably do is we probably should sell the home in Aspen. No, they just going to cut down on their business for a little while. Chill on some investments. The, quote, little people will be the ones that pay that tax cut.
They'll cut employment.
Not Sherwood and Buffy. I mean, it's being real.
It was Thurston and Gonzalez, sorry.
Thurston and what was it? Lovey.
Yeah, Thurston and Lovey.
Thurston and Lovey, yeah.
That's right. Oh, God. All right, we'll see what is in our mailbag in a second. We'll come back to this at some point, too. We're still here with you for a bit. Before we do that, I'll tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Stone County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. So getting local underwriting and understands your market. It's pretty important. As well as a leader in condo financing in Oxford. You can ask Jason about the float down option where you lock in the current rate, but if rates go down before you close, you just get the lower rate. 662-234-2704 or JLOWE@communitymtg.com.
It's hard to believe. Certainly today it's hard to believe, but it's true. Christmas is just right around the corner. Holiday gifting. What did I say? I'm out, sorry. Holiday gifting always involves a last-minute scramble, but this year the folks over at Blue Delta Jeans are here to make sure it does not have to be that way. Simply visit their site at bluedeltajeans.com, visit the Oxford studio, or contact them at info@bluedeltajeans.com to purchase a gift card. Give your loved ones the gift of custom Mississippi-made jeans for the holidays. Also, don't forget, Blue Delta would love to be a part of your holiday gifting at work. No matter the number of people in your company, give Blue Delta a call to inquire about bringing Blue Delta jeans to your office for the best holiday gift there is. That's bluedeltajeans.com. We are also coming to you in part by Comer Heating and Air. With fall here, it's now a great time to start preparing for the colder weather, so no one wants to come home and find out their heating system isn't working. Our friends over at Comer Heating and Air have you covered. Comer Heating and Air is the name you can trust, brings more than 50 years of professional HVAC experience to Oxford, Tupelo, and the surrounding area, Comer Heating and Air is offering a special fall preventative maintenance agreement to make sure your heating system is running in tip-top shape. Make sure to call Comer Heating and Air at 662-801-1777 for all your heating and cooling needs. That's Comer Heating and Air, 662-801-1777. Also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Rebel Rewards, the official rewards app of Rebel fans, brings all new experiences this season, including game day selfies, weekly trivia, and stadium light shows from your home. So download the free app today by searching Rebel Rewards. Rebel Rewards, be rewarded.
Let's see. Just want to look one more time. Let me find. I want to see Nader's vote count. Nader only got 2.74% of the popular vote.
So
Never mind. Sorry, that was in Florida.
Okay.
No, yeah, no, it was 2.74 nationwide, but he got 97,000 in Florida. Bush beat Gore by 7,000 votes. So Nader probably altered the election.
Oh, there's no doubt he did.
No doubt about that.
No doubt he did.
So the people that voted for Nader aligned with Gore, but eliminated his presidency by voting for their guy. So yeah. It's a split vote thing. So anyway. I don't know. Anyway.
See, when people say that if you vote for a third party, you're throwing your vote away, no, you're not. Nope, you're not throwing your vote away. If you're a libertarian and you want the Libertarian Party to one day become legitimate,
the more votes they get,
the closer they get to 5%, the more that they get federal funding. If they get to a funding point where they can start making some noise.
Sure.
This country has not always been Republicans and Democrats. And I always remind people of this because you know me, I'm a history guy. I love history. It's interesting. This country is still very young. Like, there's a lot of people that don't think we're going to make it. You know what I mean? There are countries around the world that are watching going, that
we're still the unruly teenager in the room.
Yeah, they look at this democracy thing. It's not going to last.
I don't know why.
So, is it possible that we're at the beginning of the end of the Republican Party, for example? Sure. All elections bring messages. Whoever loses tonight, the American people are sending them a message. And you go from there. If the Democrats, let's say the Democrats lose tonight. Well, it's easy to say what the message is if the Republicans lose. It's people were tired of Trump fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
If the Democrats were to lose, it's, hey, here's a thought. Maybe you guys ought to start running someone newer and fresher. The last time you ran somebody new and fresh, he won twice. Then you ran a woman that most of America hated, and now you're running this old man who, and let's be real here, he might win, but his lead has shrunk in the last 2 weeks.
Sure.
As one old man has come back from COVID and barnstormed the country, forget messages and what exactly they say and all that for a minute, the optics of it. Who had the massive rallies?
Yeah, of course. Trump did. Well, look, the last 2 times they went young and fresh. It was Clinton before that.
Clinton won. Great point.
It was the last 2 times.
Yeah.
The Democrats have not had an older person elected since Jimmy Carter in 1976.
It's why sometimes when the Democrats do the Trump thing, I'm like, well, if Trump wins tonight and you're a Democrat, before you go get all pissed off at the Republicans, look in the mirror. Who have you run? You've run Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. I think even the most honest, transparent person would admit that Joe Biden is far from an exciting candidate. In fact, I'll tell you who I was listening to. Megyn Kelly's podcast, which, believe it or not, is really good.
Okay.
And she had on what's his name? He's a Democrat. Andrew Yang. Is it Yang? Andrew Yang? Okay. I always do that because there was a girl in my class in school that I grew up with whose last name was Yang, but they pronounced it Young. And so it's always screwed me up. Andrew Yang, who's sharp.
Yeah.
Who probably will be a part of this administration if Biden wins. And so she was talking to him, and he referred to Joe Biden as a wet blanket. He said maybe what we need right now, as fiery as we are in our country, is a wet blanket. So when the best thing you can say about your candidate is he's a wet blanket, you're not exactly firing people up. This isn't John F. Kennedy, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, people with overwhelming charisma. I mean, look who they brought out. I mean, you and I were joking about this before. They brought Obama out the last week or so.
Yeah, last week or so.
And Obama would show up and there'd be some energy at these rallies, and I always was like, hey, he's not on the ballot. Just a reminder. He's not running. I mean, he could run right now. He'd win. He'd win the whole election.
Sure. I mean, he would be, given who the Republicans have put up, he would be trying to get a fourth term without term limits, much the same way that Clinton would have won again in 2000 and potentially 2004, depending on how he would have handled bin Laden.
Sure.
Or 9/11, sorry.
Sure. I mean, go back through history and look at who excites people. Reagan excited people. Reagan fired up a base.
Mm-hmm.
Clinton got young people so motivated.
Yeah.
Obama changed the demographics of elections.
Changed the mechanisms of election.
I mean, in many ways, all Trump's really guilty of is running against a weak candidate.
Running against a weak field in the Republicans, too. I mean, you and I both started that podcast this morning. There were 17 Republican Republican candidates in the primary.
I mean, everybody thought Jeb Bush was going to. I mean, Jeb Bush ran an awful campaign, just awful.
He had to beat Jeb Bush and Ted Cruz.
Yeah, and Cruz actually ran an okay campaign.
Yeah,
Cruz has emerged from all of this as one of the voices of reason. It's fascinating.
Yeah,
I mean, but when in 2016, if what happened to the Democratic Party, and this is not revisionist, this is not anti-Democrat, is that the young Democrats who were excited about Bernie Sanders. And the party, either because it felt like it had promised Hillary Clinton or because it felt like Bernie Sanders couldn't win a national election, went saying, oh, hell no.
Which it's more.
And went to Hillary. And this time, Joe Biden was kind of a default winner. They had this massive stage full of people.
Yeah.
And the people that they thought would get people excited did not get people excited, Kamala Harris included. Her campaign for president never got off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't inspiring. Nobody got excited about her. They still got hung up on Bernie Sanders. Elizabeth Warren had far more traction than Kamala Harris.
Yeah, of course.
And the Democratic Party looked at Elizabeth Warren and they looked at Bernie Sanders and they're like, these guys can't win.
Generals. No.
And so who do you run? And it's the same thing with the Republicans. Whether they win or lose today, 4 years from now, the Republicans got some decisions to make. Do you continue down this far right wing craziness, or do you try to find somebody that's a moderate? But can a moderate win a
general?
A moderate can win a general, but
can't win the primary.
Can they win a primary?
Yeah.
Which way do you go? Both of these parties, in my opinion, are going to leave tonight soul searching because the massive turnout. My opinion. The massive turnout is about two things. It's anti-Trump and it's anti-shutdown. No one is, well, I shouldn't say no one, because if you look at you can't dispute the crowds that you saw the last few days at these Trump rallies.
No, that segment exists. I don't know how widespread it is, but that segment exists.
I mean, those are people, everybody goes, oh, super spreader. Well, it tells you those people are not concerned about COVID. Whether you think they should be or shouldn't be is another matter entirely. They're not. They're fired up about him. How many of those people are there? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Jump into the mailbag a little bit, see what we have so far. Here, Vibin Rev 45. Thanks for the call a couple weeks ago, maybe last week. I don't know, it all runs together. But anyway, do you guys think JRP throwing as much as he did Saturday was a message from Kiffin? He only threw 3 times against Vanderbilt. John Rice was 1 for 3 with the touchdown pass to Braylon Sanders for 37 yards. So, yeah, no. I mean, I think he just ran an offense as they were running out time, and you let him play, and it was what it was. I don't think it was anything positive or negative from Lane Kiffin. By the way, DeMarcus Thomas out of the hospital. He was released at some point yesterday afternoon.
I'm told he passed every test.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
So it may have been a severe stinger.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
thank God.
I mean, we're speculating to some extent. I don't know.
Yeah, I have not asked anybody over there today. It's a day off. We'll get Kiffin tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll dig into it if people will stop asking questions about fourth-string tight ends and such. We'll dig into it and find out what happened. What do the medical people say? You know, is it safe for him to play again? Yeah. Has that even been broached?
And I doubt it has.
I would think not.
There's time for that. That is not right now. But yeah, I mean, great news to this point. He's had movement. He's had feeling. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, it's fantastic news.
Like I said, if you've watched the video, great. But if not, Kiffin, as shaken as he was yesterday, I thought, oh, no, this is.
Well, I've talked to other people, and he was. Someone said he was unresponsive. That's not it. He was responding. They would say, "Can you feel this?" And he said, "No." When they were moving things, "Can you feel this?" And the answer was no. They were pressing on pressure points. "Can you feel this?" No. He was getting scared. They were getting scared. There was a lot of. And when they got the ambulance people out there, they said, "We need the helicopter." Mm-hmm. So that was legitimate fear there. So thank God that he's okay. I mean, goodness.
Yeah, I don't know anything else I say on the subject. Tanner Pace, favorite red blend in the $30 range. This is your area, not mine.
I don't do blends much.
You don't do blends?
To be honest with you, since I got COVID, my taste buds have reset.
Okay, to what?
I'm back just to cabs, really.
Are you really?
Yeah, like Pinot Noir tastes bitter now.
Yeah, and I'd rather have that. I'd rather have a Pinot Noir than a cab.
And I had completely gone the other way.
I mean, budget stuff. I'm gonna from a Pinot standpoint, I'm gonna drink Mailbag, some stuff like that. I mean, I'm pretty easy. I'm not complicated.
There's a really good. I think it's Robert Mondavi around $30. That's great. There's several in there. I got to look. I don't
with a cab or what?
With the cab, yeah. There's next time I go to the store, I'll write down a few that I typically cycle through. Oh. There's about 10 that I'll just sort of alternate.
The Luca, I kind of like Mailbags a little bit. The Luca Mailbag blend's pretty good. It's
I like Mailbags.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's not my area at all. I'm not gonna know a ton. I'm gonna drink. That's how my taste buds have shifted. I will still do some white wine, but I'm much more of a red wine person than I used to be. I used to be almost exclusively white wine, no matter what I was eating. But I'm pretty exclusively red wine now. I don't drink a lot of white wine unless there's a pretty good reason for it.
I'm mad at myself for not writing it down, but I did have a Chardonnay a couple months ago that was fantastic. I made the mistake of not writing it down. It was probably because I had most of the bottle and forgot. But
you should have told Siri to make a note or something. Real quick. Hey, let's remember this one. It was good. You like the real oaky or like the real butter? Or what's your Chardonnay thing?
I can be either way. I like the buttery ones.
Do you really?
I do. Okay. But I like the oaky ones too.
Anybody making fun, you're not a Chardonnay drinker. There's a huge difference. You can definitely tell if it's really heavy on one or the other.
Sure.
It's not the same flavor profile at all.
But I like white wine fine.
Let's see. Tyler Layton says, do Kiffin and company spend 2 weeks prepping for USC, or do they take a look at A&M with the extra time? They will look ahead, and they will self-scout. They will do a lot of self-scouting this week.
I know people hate this. This is infancy stages of the program. The South Carolina game is not going to make or break the rebuild. They're going to treat it like every other game. They're also changing culture. This is a week that he said it. They're going to have 3 practices where they work on themselves. Give them a couple of days off, and then get back into game week routine for South Carolina. No, they're not. They're not gonna treat a game differently to the kids. That's not how you build your program culture.
I would assume behind the scenes they're going to figure out a lot of stuff they're doing as much as anything else. Especially with the recruiting being what it is, where they really can't do anything extra. They don't have that extra burden of recruiting that they would on a bye week, where you go, hey, we're going to leave on Thursday and we're going to go see this kid, and then you're not leaving. You're not doing much of anything as that time comes.
And that's what they wish they could do.
Yeah, that's frankly more important than game planning. If they could get out there and do that. Just the truth of it. Podcast brought to you in part by Visit Oxford. VisitOxfordMS.com is the website. They help us out with the Oxford Eats every single Saturday at game days, and you can go find out what events are in town every day. They update the events page there at VisitOxfordMS.com. On next Friday, this Friday on the 6th, you've got the Cedric Burnside concert on the Square. You've got some tunes around town next Friday night as well. A lot of stuff going on, including the ongoing drive-in movies. More info there is found at oxfordfilmfest.com, so that website, and then some other events going on with oxfordarts.com also. So a lot of different options. But yeah, Cedric Burnside balcony concert on the 6th at 5 o'clock, and then more. Visit oxfordms.com/events.
A question that's asked in the thread before I pay a few bills here: will it hurt Kiffin in recruiting that he said he couldn't care less if his own son ever played football? No.
Do what now?
Kiffin yesterday when he was pretty upset.
I heard that.
The question: will it hurt him in recruiting? No.
Oh, no.
Of course not. Listen, here's the truth. You talk to a whole bunch of football coaches, like anything else, that topic, when it comes up, the opinions are all over the map. There are college coaches who won't let their kids play. And there are college coaches who think it's the greatest thing in the world and their kids should absolutely play. And some of it depends on the kid.
Yeah. It shows you're human. Human is pretty important recruiting.
Of course.
He's human.
Yes.
It's human.
Yes.
So
Lane Kiffin was telling the truth yesterday when he was asked about, will he play football again? It's the least of his concerns. You get to know these people. They're not football robots. They're human beings inside those uniforms. I'm not talking down to anybody. They're just different. They're people. Yeah. And so, I was glad that Ole Miss didn't carry through and bring a bunch of players in there for interviews yesterday so that people could ask questions about the Vanderbilt game. They had just watched one of their friends potentially suffer a significant injury. They were shook. There was no reason for them to come talk to us.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Ben asked a question that was completely in the wrong place, wrong time, and then felt incredibly badly about it. So he apologized immediately. He did not come out like he wanted to. I'm going to defend him a little.
Yeah, it didn't come out the way he meant for it to.
Yeah, he felt really badly about it.
And frankly, that was not the question that bugged me the most. And I'm not getting into a breakdown of it.
But there was one or two.
There were multiple where I practically threw stuff. We're also brought to you by the College Corner. It's the sponsor for our picks. And three-way tie at the top.
Is there?
Picks. Okay. You, me, and Jeffrey all tied for first. Zach fell off a little bit this past week, but it's very tight. Lots of tension. CollegeCornerStore.com. It's next to, in Jackson, in Ridgeland, it's next to Fleet Feet. In Flowood, it's next to Half Shell. CollegeCornerStore.com. So whether you're tailgating in Oxford or home gating with friends and family, the College Corner has you covered for game day. The largest selection of Rebel gear in central Mississippi. We're also brought to you by the Iron Horse Grill with live music 4 times per week. It's the perfect place to enjoy lunch, dinner, or Sunday brunch. 320 East Pearl Street. We're also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. They're based in Madison, Mississippi. They've got clients in multiple states. They have advisors in multiple states as well. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. They treat investing like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. Pintrust.com, PINNtrust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fees.
Oh, gosh. Oh, I'll tell you later.
Oh, something come up?
No. It was something funny. It's
Okay.
fine. Let's see. Best dog moments. Any tips for new fathers? What's the stupidest thing you've ever done with fireworks? Okay. Three in a row there. From Lone Star Reb. Best dog moments.
I don't know. All dog moments are pretty
Yeah,
good
I mean,
dog
it's
moments.
a dog. What's the thing? I mean, when he judged a certain character, maybe we should have listened.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Because Rizzo likes everybody.
No.
I mean, he didn't like him.
Was it Rizzo or Gus?
It's Rizzo.
Was it Rizzo?
Yeah. And Gus pretty much likes everybody, but Rizzo loves.
Gus is a little more temperamental.
Yeah. Rizzo loves everybody. And he didn't like him at all.
He backed away.
He backed away. Like, oh, no. He got a vibe.
A black lab backed away from
and he was
someone.
a puppy at the time.
Yeah, he was little. Well, he was young.
Yeah, he was like
never
a year
little.
old. He's a pup. I mean, he's still a puppy. He acts like a puppy now, and he's more than 3. And he was like, He backed away so fast.
I saw it that day, and I was like, oh, hold on. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I know.
That was a little weird.
I judged, man. And I was right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have like a Lassie moment where something like a
No.
dog saved human or anything, but I mean, yeah, it's a dog.
No,
I mean,
I have my little special time with Gus in the morning and then with Rizzo at night. That's kind of how that works.
do you really?
Yeah. Gus wants to kind of hang out just with me in the mornings, and then Rizzo.
Do they sit at your feet and stuff like a good bit, or they kind of stay away?
Gus will. Yeah.
Will they really?
Yeah. And then at night, Gus goes to bed, and Rizzo will come in there and lay down by me. That's a calming thing, man. Petting a dog's head, especially his head because it's a big old black head. Very calming.
Yeah, Rizzo is such a beautiful dog, and that head, like you just want to pat it, like you just want to rub it and pet it and like pat on it a little bit.
And he likes it. He'll come put his head up on your, because he's 8 feet tall.
Yeah. Tips for new fathers. I mean, look, when you can, look, you're not in charge most of the time. It's not you that's going to have a ton of the burden, so take it off of her when you can. I think that's it. It's like, hey, an hour and a half of some solitude for the new mother is probably pretty important if she can get that. So do some of that.
Well, there's nothing better than a nap with a newborn, man.
Yeah, I mean
that's awesome.
You can make that work for everybody. I guess is the point. As Neil has said many times, some white onesies are all you need. Every time you can. Look, and I'm not a good example. It is as often as you can knock out the other clothes.
That $70 outfit for the infant. That's you set that money on fire.
Yeah. Just saying that's doable.
No, I mean, I'm bottom line tip: enjoy it. It doesn't last long. It goes fast.
Oh, no, that's true.
I was filling out FAFSA stuff with 2 kids yesterday. It goes fast.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah. That'd put you in a mood. I was about ready to punch something. That password's incorrect. It was like, screw some.
Yeah. If the word smock is used, just say no.
No.
That's pretty much the answer.
Yes,
there.
the answer is that still a thing?
Oh.
Is it?
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
I gotta tell you, I don't miss
Carly Ann
I don't
will
miss
never
those
forget
days.
her name. It is monogrammed on every damn thing. Like her initials are not a problem. Yeah. We changed the spelling of her name the night before she was born, or the night she was born. It was going to be Carlie, like Jeffrey, not because of Jeffrey's dog, but
right.
like Jeffrey's dog, and changed it that night and had like a bunny or whatever there that like had it spelled out on it, and I had to do a bit of a rush order there from Bells and Bows at the last minute to get some switches on that. I made a call. And I was like, hey, I need a bunny, and I need a bunny now. But yeah, just that's it. Yeah, enjoy it.
Hey, a little breaking news here, Chase. Sure. Robert Allen. I don't think this is going to matter, but Robert Allen, the basketball player, has been declared eligible by the NCAA. Immediately eligible. The Samford transfer.
Yeah.
So
is that good, bad, indifferent?
It's not bad. Everybody gets a free year, so why not?
Sure.
I don't know how much he was going to play this year. I think a lot of injuries would have to happen. But, no, it's good news. I mean, means that he's eligible to play if he earns playing time or whatever.
Stupidest thing I've ever done with fireworks. I mean, I'm old enough to be in the generation where you had the big firework wars, and I'm lucky nobody was ever really, really hurt from them. Where you're, as kids, standing pretty close to other people shooting Roman candles at their faces. You're lucky the balls of fire did not connect for the most part. I did have a buddy, and I guess we were 12 or 13, and my best friends from school. It was All-Stars during the summer, and I guess it was after an All-Star tournament or something. They were having a bottle rocket, throwing up in the air, and back then, I'm 36, so when you were a kid, you wore your hat really, really like curved bill, and really like curved bill and like pull down over his face, and a bottle rocket. He threw a bottle rocket up, and when it shot, it got caught under his cap, and it blew up in his eye. He actually lost all frontal vision from the bottle rocket.
Oh,
where it,
God.
Like even like whatever the stuff's called, it kind of leaks. It kind of leaked out a little bit. So yeah.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah. It blew up, but luckily I've never had that issue. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know what the deal is with Otis Reese. Every time that comes up, I'm more careful how I say this. I get the sense there's more to this than an NCAA thing. I don't know what that means, but I get the sense it's more complicated than your standard waiver.
For whatever reason.
For whatever reason. I'm not defending the NCAA. I'm not a fan, but I just get the impression there's more to it than that.
Let's see. Nut, Freeze, and Luke walk into a bar. Bartender looks up, and what's his response? Non-alcohol or food related?
Orgeron, Nut, Freeze,
the last four coaches, all hanging out at the bar together. Bartender responds.
Oh, I mean, got to get that on Twitter, right? I don't know. That'd be a hell of a conversation to listen to.
I mean, Freeze and Kiffin hung out for a minute at Grill House when he came to town. I mean.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't think they'd be like throwing.
Well, everybody gets a lot. I'm kind of playing around.
It'd be interesting. I don't know.
Who would they vote off the island first of those four?
Houston. No, Ed.
Ed?
I think so.
Kiffin would even be like, yeah, okay, that's enough. That's enough Orgeron.
I'll tell you what, man. I was talking to Chris today. Ed better get it together. Quick. His inability to consistently hire good coaches is going to be his downfall.
Ed gets how long to right a ship? What's going on there? What do you think?
I don't know. How bad does this season go?
Bad. Really bad.
Next year's important.
Okay, what does that mean?
Better win.
8-4? Is that a threshold?
I don't think he'd be getting fired at 8-4. Anything less than that, and it could get iffy. And like I told Chris today, this division's not going to get any easier. Take a look at it real hard. Alabama's Alabama. Everybody at Auburn's mad. All they're doing is winning games. Close, but close counts. History will show that they beat Arkansas, Ole Miss, and LSU. A&M's getting better, fast. I think we all look at Ole Miss, we all look at Arkansas, and our eyes tell us what? That the programs are getting better. I think Ole Miss is going to get better fast. I do. I think Ole Miss is going to get better fast. And I think Arkansas is going to improve. I think as long as Pittman is there, the days of them just getting shellacked because they show up are over. And then who knows about State? They might be replacing Arkansas. But that's 5 of the 7 programs in the league. And your LSU, you draw Florida every year. Florida's good. He's crazy, but they're good.
The one dude in the West right now that has to wake up going, we are in trouble, is John Cohen.
Yeah.
Going, I just don't know.
I don't know. Absolutely. That's my point. You just take a look at the landscape.
Who is it in the East? Ray Tanner? Vanderbilt doesn't count.
Yeah, probably.
Carolina's one where I don't really know what our direction is right now.
Yeah. You'd probably like to see Will go one way or the other. But look, if A&M starts becoming a top 10 type program, I know we're not there yet, but if they do, the West gets squirrely for LSU fast. If Ole Miss isn't going to suck anymore, and then if Ole Miss gets good, and if Arkansas goes from they don't suck anymore to they're okay.
Suddenly.
I mean, you've watched these two programs the last couple of weeks. If I told you today that Ole Miss is really good in 2023, are you surprised?
No, of course not.
And if I told you that Arkansas is a pretty solid 7-win program, are you surprised?
Yeah, look, Arkansas could be the most pain in the ass of pain in the asses in the division.
Well, if they get to that point, you got to go up there every other year, and their people are excited and all that stuff, and they get weather advantages up there, or disadvantages, however you want to call it.
And it's a hard place to play.
All of a sudden, that's not a freebie. I'm not giving them a national championship. I'm just saying, all of a sudden, that's a tough place to go get a W every other year. If you're LSU, you're counting – because, look, if you're LSU, you're counting on Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State being W's every year.
I was looking for this crazy LSU hazing story, and I'm having a hard time finding it on the board.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, I was trying to pull it up on the board and read some of it, but, I mean, good grief.
His blood alcohol level was –
0.458.
How in the world?
0.02 is legal for anybody for reference.
Oh, wow.
I don't even.
How did he live?
Yeah, I don't know.
Thank God he did, but my God. What were in those drinks? What were we talking about?
Well, in the amount. I mean, we're talking.
That's just God almighty. Crazy.
I mean, yeah, I was looking for it here, but it doesn't matter. The gist, it was a pretty rough deal. Let's see, where was I at? Sorry, just losing the quick hits for a second. Let's see. I've heard nothing else about the Penn State football hazing bullying story that broke in the offseason. Nothing. And that is a great question about how James Franklin continually just kind of gets by being a pretty crappy human being.
Yeah. I don't know. Good coach.
Well, he is a good coach.
Everybody loves winners.
You let a lot of things go. The AD probably goes to bed every night a little worried about whatever's going on. But Gulf Coast Rev 23, I understand the no money thing this year, ranked the top 5 coaches likely to get canned after 2021.
Top 5?
1, 3, 10.
I
mean,
Mason,
look, at some point, Mason has to get fired.
Mason, Muschamp, Leach. If it goes bad, they can't let it crater.
They gave him a crazy extension, but I still think Tennessee would find a way to fire Jeremy Pruitt. In the right situation.
I was gonna say Pruitt.
That's all I feel really confident.
Malzahn, perhaps. It's got to go bad though.
I keep forgetting that.
He's 9 lives. And then outside, yeah, I mean Tom Herman. If he doesn't win, that was a big win for him last week. Big win to beat Oklahoma State. Big win.
What's your plan for basketball season if you're excluded from the pavilion?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, like we do football. Have a watch party, do a post-game show, download the Zoom, throw it in, let people hear what Kermit and people had to say, and do a lot more, try to do more in-depth stuff between games, I think.
See how it goes. I mean, that's been kind of the thing all the way from the beginning. Yeah, Ole Miss has not played well in Fayetteville at all at any point. Ben Leslie says, when's it not been tough for Ole Miss at Arkansas? Almost every dang time.
Yeah. But if they get to be decent, all of a sudden that's a real tough place.
Who earned more credibility with recruits for $25K? Lane for calling out the SEC officials or Mullen for inciting a brawl over a late hit on his quarterback?
Lane. Mullen kind of took a reputation hit on this one. It was not his best day. And then he does the Darth Vader thing, which was a hand-raised guy, read the room moment.
Because I'm sure it was pre-planned.
It was.
Quit.
Yeah. Might have been like, hey, probably ought to put this off to next Halloween.
OT6 says, if you could pick an SEC coach for Kiffin to have a feud with, which one would make for the most entertainment? I say Jimbo. They play each other every year, so it's a must for a feud. Plus, Jimbo seems like he's easy to troll, which plays into Kiffin's hands. The conference needs a little more bad blood dynamic like Spurrier and Fulmer.
I don't think Kiffin's going to be your feud guy. That's just not his deal.
Not at other coaches.
Mm-mm.
He'll go after refs. He'll defend your program. He'll speak to the fans.
Like, I don't even see him having a feud with a reporter or anything. That's not his deal. He's pretty laid back.
His things are for recruiting and messaging.
Yeah.
They're not for, hey, let me just that's inefficient to him.
And his brand is fun.
Yeah.
So feuds aren't
sarcastic,
fun.
Cocky,
yeah, I mean,
like,
I think what you see him do with Saban is about as hard as he's going to go after somebody.
Speaking of, Lane Train with a question on the message board. Why should we treat the sizable list of 5.5 and 5.6 3-stars recruited committed under Lane differently than those under Matt Luke?
Because it's a pandemic and they haven't been able to recruit.
He hasn't literally been off campus yet.
They're going to sign a class full of kids that they've never met.
It's crazy.
I mean, if you don't think that's awkward.
I mean, that is just crazy.
I mean, we're going through this in our house. It's impossible to do a legitimate college search when you can't get in front of people. Zoom sucks. I mean, it's great for us. We use it. Thank God we have it, but it's not exactly personal. Like if you were dating a girl over Zoom, I just don't know that you'd ever really develop any chemistry. And I'm not talking about sexual stuff. I'm just saying you would never really develop any chemistry. You'd never really get to know each other that much.
And to even be able to get through it, you better both be damn good at communication.
Yeah, phenomenal at it. And most 17-year-old kids aren't super duper, hey, let's have an in-depth conversation here on the Zoom machine. They'll text you till you're blue in the face.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you want to judge coaches on this recruiting class, I realize it's a question. Go for it, but I'm not. Part of Oxford's charm is Oxford's charm. Part of Ole Miss's appeal is the beauty of the campus.
Yeah, sure.
You can't really give that justice on a Zoom or with a video.
Mm-hmm.
There is something to be said for in-person. There's a reason Trump didn't do his rallies by Zoom. There's a reason the NBA bubble games, despite the fact that it was some of the best basketball I ever watched, felt funny. Mm-hmm. We are humans. We typically like being around other humans.
Interaction.
Yeah. So you're asking a kid, hey, I know you don't know anything about us much other than what you see on the football field on TV every Saturday when everybody else is wanting you to watch them too. Oh, and by the way, 17-year-old boys, for the most part, 18-year-old boys don't sit down on a Saturday for 4 hours and watch a football game. That's not really how they consume sports.
You can't sit there and go, hey, did you see that second quarter? No, probably not.
No, probably didn't, Coach.
Yeah. You have to send me some film of that.
I was hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
My girlfriend wanted me to come over.
Yeah.
I was out playing hoops.
Mm-hmm.
I had practice. Had film. I went to work out.
I missed it.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I was looking at YouTube. I saw your TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we need you to seriously consider our school. I've never been there. It's going to be hard. Oh, and you can come visit, but we can't see you when you come. We can't even talk to you when you come. So just come spend your own money, go visit Oxford, drive around the stadium a few times, and then holler at me on Monday.
Tough sell.
You going to recruit like that?
And you weren't at Alabama or Auburn or Mississippi State where you know some of the kids previously. You were at FAU.
Yeah, or pre-pandemic, these kids that are seniors now, they were big-time prospects. These 4 and 5 stars that everybody wants, they've been stars for a while now.
Yeah.
They went to 3 games in Tuscaloosa last year. They know the staff.
Yeah. So.
You're not competing against that.
Podcast also brought to you part by Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy. Tyson Drugs are in Holly Springs. G&M They're on South Lamar in Oxford, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area. They offer Right Way Meds to individually package your medication. You can take it at the time that you need it. It can help save lives there with the appropriate dosage at the right time. They also have the Immune Support Med Packs. You can get those. They're a 30-day supply of vitamin C, zinc, NAC, probiotic, and vitamin D3 there at both locations. Again, in Holly Springs or Oxford, 662-236-2222.
We're also brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're thinking about getting away, want to take a trip, there are deals to be had out there right now. John knows of them. All you got to do is get in touch with him, give him some parameters, give him a budget, and he'll give you options. And know this, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first book trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. We're also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB offers its customers the absolute best cash checking account. It's called Kasasa, and with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000. And with Kasasa, ATM fees nationwide are refunded. OUB also offers online bill pay, mobile check deposit using its online app. To learn more, go to Live Oxford, bankoxford.com, or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. I'll have my mailbag up tomorrow. It is brought to you by Whitney McNutt, Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. She sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844 to get in touch with Whitney. We're also brought to you by the law firm Bain, Moss, and Bowen, located in historic downtown Corinth. Their firm practices a wider range of law, from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. Bain, Moss, and Bowen is the only firm in Mississippi made up of a sitting state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit court judge. Their experience is unmatched, and you can tap into that by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth, or by calling them at 662-287-1620. And we're brought to you by Meadowbrook Wealth Advisors of Raymond James. It's a team in Jackson providing planning and investment guidance to clients across the state and the surrounding areas. Financial advisors Bill Geary, Logan Phillips, Chris Carrero, and Ryan Geary are partners with a commitment to personalized service. Call them at 601-368-2215. See if they might be a good fit for your financial goals. Raymond James and Associates Incorporated, member New York Stock Exchange, SIPC.
Oh, let's see. Anything else actually going on in the world of sports today? Wisconsin having another game called off due to cases. They will not play Purdue next week.
If they lose one more game, they're disqualified from the Big Ten title.
Are they?
Yep.
Well, I mean, at some point you do have to play the games. So,
yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Big Ten's fault, but still.
You get COVIDed out.
Bill Belichick comes out and says, basically, we don't have as much to work with this season. Well, that is true, Bill. Been 20 years, bud. It is what it is. You made some bad decisions.
Made one really bad one here recently. Probably should have held on to
12.
Look,
I was invested in a non-Saints Tampa game for the first time in a while last night because those Suns got to lose at some point. I mean, the Giants couldn't quite pull it off, but that's a big one next week. Saints Bucks.
Bucks weren't exactly dialed in Monday.
They were not.
Yeah.
No, it was a little sleepy there for the game. On lines real quick for NFL for the week. See what we're looking at. It's Tuesday. We got time.
We'll remind you real quick while I'm thinking of it. We'll start hand raised guys. Not hand raised guys. We'll start that on Thursday night. We'll talk about whatever the hell you guys want to talk about, depending on whether the world's still standing. We'll start Scoreboard Business, our pregame show next Saturday at 4:30. Ole Miss and South Carolina get together at 6:30. We'll have programming to you earlier than that. It'll be brought to you by The Rogue. The Rogue, your destination for fine men's clothing. It's also home to Duckhead, which has returned to The Rogue. The return of this icon brand remains true to its roots by producing garments of enduring quality, timeless style. Visit The Rogue at 4450 I-55 North in Jackson or at therogue.com.
decent week across the NFL this week. You got Green Bay at San Francisco. Kittle out for a really long time, like 7 weeks or something, the 49ers. But anyway, Green Bay, San Francisco. Seattle's at Buffalo this week. Potentially a good game there. Seattle having to come across the country to play the Bills. Denver and Atlanta's a dud. Chicago at Tennessee. Two somewhat similar teams.
Is that this Sunday?
That's what it says. 11-8. Yeah, in Nashville.
Oh, I talked to Carson about going to that game.
Titans a 5.5-point favorite.
Think I can get tickets?
I have no idea what the Titans ticket situation is. None, literally.
I need to dig into that a little bit.
No clue. Detroit and Minnesota is this week. Baltimore at Indianapolis. Sneaky good game there between the Ravens and the Colts. Carolina, Kansas City. Houston, Jacksonville. Giants, Redskins. Las Vegas against the L.A. Chargers. Pittsburgh and Dallas this weekend. Pittsburgh's still undefeated, right?
I think so.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought, too. Miami at Arizona is this week. And then your Sunday night game of the week, Saints at Bucks. So there's that. In Tampa, your Monday game is a dud. It is the New England Patriots facing the New York Jets.
Ooh.
I mean,
gross.
Anything else on Monday night is preferable to that garbage. So
that's nasty.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to go look for tickets these days.
Oh, where do you do that?
I don't know. I hadn't done it in so long that you forget like where are the places to go.
I mean, like, does Ticketmaster have tickets for NFL
I don't know.
StubHub, SeatGeek?
Wow, Ginger says Titans tickets were running about $250 each for upper level 2 weeks ago.
Ooh.
I don't know that I want to go that bad.
Yeah. Carson would have to really want to go for that one.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I might just let that slip.
Yeah, Ben's probably a good night for that. Says he has Double Oak and Elijah Small Batch queued up for the evening. We have a cocktail thread at rebelgrove.com where you can share some recipes. I contributed a Sazerac recipe and a Manhattan recipe earlier today. Yeah. I know there's a martini recipe in there.
I'm probably just pouring that thing straight into a glass tonight.
Well, I did the Sazerac one first. And I went, okay, most people aren't going to have that stuff in their bar, so we got to audible a little bit. So did the Manhattan, basically a bourbon martini for anybody who hasn't had one. Yeah, so you can go check it out. Maybe it's the night to go, you know what? I've never tried this cocktail, but we're going to run to the liquor store and we're going to give it a shot. So maybe that's the thing.
So what's your gut feeling? Do we know tonight? Do we go to bed knowing who the president is tonight?
I think we have a decent idea. Yeah. I mean, look, you're not going to have all votes certified, obviously, but yeah, because you never do. But yeah, I think we have a decent idea at the end of the night. Because I think that means one of two things. I think that means either Biden wins with a margin that it doesn't really matter on the uncertainty, or I think it means Trump wins a lot of Eastern and Central time zone states, or one or the other, that will dictate his path being very, very likely at that point. Does that make sense? Where you get say he gets North Carolina, say the early returns on Pennsylvania is he's probably going to win, maybe just for the hell of it. He wins Florida, he wins Ohio, and I don't think he's going to, but he picks off a Rust Belt state. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, well, that makes some sense. Yeah, mathematically. So I don't know. I mean, I'll be up for a while.
There's even a scenario where it's Arizona that's deciding the country. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in Austin's thing yesterday, say he's right, and Austin looks at it a hell of a lot more than I do. Yeah. Is he had 3 battleground states. He had North Carolina, Arizona, and Pennsylvania in that map he sent us. Trump needed all of them.
Had to win all 3.
If he only wins 2 of them, even the 2 biggest, he fell at 268. So that would be 270 to 268 in that diagram. And in that matter, we were going to court forever. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
If you looked at that guy on TV right there and said, "What does he do for a living?" Your last guess would be he's the lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania. I mean, seriously. If I said, "Here's this guy, what does he do for a living?" You'd be like, "Okay, mixed martial arts."
They're talking to a singer. Yeah. Like,
you would never go, he's probably a lieutenant governor somewhere.
Whatever. All right.
Did Hillary concede at 2 a.m. last time? She called Trump and conceded.
I had gone to bed before it happened, yeah, because it looked obvious at that point. I quit on it. So, anyway. All right. Good luck tonight to everybody for hanging in and whatever it is that you wish to happen. Maybe you'll get your wish. Let's all get through it, and we'll go on to tomorrow and hope we're not going, well, okay, here's the rules on how the court system works for the next 3 weeks. Let's not that be a topic tomorrow. We'll get Lane Kiffin tomorrow. We'll get more, UFC fighters are a good one, Georgia. That would fall into the mix there for the Pennsylvania Lieutenant Governor. So come hang out on the Rebel Grove message board. I'm sure there will be a multitude of threads about it tonight. It's election day, people. Chill the hell out, and we will talk to you again tomorrow. Take care.